Greetings, Patriots, and welcome back to the Pushback channel. Today I want to just highlight a few things that I'm going to come back and talk about separately. There's so much to talk about between Obama and Clinton that I have to separate them. Otherwise, it's just going to be too long. All I want to do is give you some things for you to research, or to Google, or to Bing, or to DuckDuckGo, or whatever search engine you use. I just want to give you some topics and some words that will help you to open up and learn a little bit more about some of the stuff that's gone on these last 8 years, and in some cases a little more. So let me just read through the list first, and let's go from there. Okay. Right now, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is in the middle of a trial here in Florida. It's the DNC against the Sanders supporters. From the WikiLeaks, we learned that the DNC basically rigged and stole the nomination from Sanders and gave it to Clinton, and that's obvious. They stole money that was earmarked for him and everything else. So that's a disenfranchisement claim going on. You have the Lynch-Clinton meeting on the tarmac involving James Comey's letting that go, and possible collusion into the trial. We've heard that Lynch has supposedly emailed another member of the DNC saying, don't worry, we're not going to let this investigation of Hillary Clinton go too far. She's going to be okay and get her nomination. And in fact, that's kind of what happened, despite the fact that many crimes were uncovered. You've got the Fast and Furious scandal from Eric Holder's days as the AG for the DOJ, and Fast and Furious was the gun running, where they were actually bringing high-powered rifles into Mexico and giving them to the drug cartels to try to track and catch them, and that resulted in the death of at least one border agent that we know, and no telling how many civilians. So you've got Fast and Furious. You've got Rice doing the unmasking, where they were using the NSA, the CIA, all their little eavesdropping tools. That was weaponized. And then they were unmasking American citizens, which is a violation of the Fourth Amendment. And we know that Rice is involved in that, and probably also it looks like the current UN or the previous UN ambassador, God only knows how that person could ever even be possibly involved in unmasking, but allegedly they have been involved in much unmasking. You've got the Anthony Weiner and Hubert Abedin connection there with their laptop that had a file on there that said life insurance that was allegedly full of pedophile information and blackmail information and information on House members that would be used to protect Anthony Weiner in the event that he were arrested. And in fact, he was arrested and charged with sexting a minor. She was, I've heard, 14 at the beginning of their relationship, 15 when he got busted. 15 years old, so and sending lewd pictures and so on and so forth to this young child. And Hillary Clinton was aware of it. She did nothing about it except told Huma Abedin, you gotta come with me, get away from him for now, in case it comes to light during the campaign. You can say you were divorcing him and blah blah blah. Of course, they're back together now. It was all just a front in case they were caught and they could distance themselves from Anthony Weiner, but they can't now. And this is not the first. This is the second actual pedophile case that Hillary Clinton not only failed to report, but squashed. She squashed this one, but even more so, there was a pedophile investigation reported by NBC in the State Department that involved pedophilia, and she absolutely moved forward and squashed that entire investigation. You can figure out why. Being Loretta Lynch telling Comey to refer to the investigation of Hillary Clinton and the email scandal as a matter and not an investigation, that's got to be looked into. That's obviously obstruction of justice, or at least her being in charge of the FBI, which is not her position. You got Seth Rich's murder, which may or may not be related to the DNC, but what has happened as a result of that is that they issued a warrant to search Seth Rich's computer to see whether or not he had an ongoing feud with somebody looking for a suspect in his murder. Of course, that's normal procedure. But in the process, oops, they found correspondence with Julian Assange of WikiLeaks, and they found correspondence and files related to the dump at WikiLeaks. There's your Russian connection. The problem with that is if that gets out, and it's out, but it's not in the mainstream media, these are things they will not cover, but that means that the Russian hacking was not hacking, and it wasn't Russia, it was Seth Rich dumping. And the reason he did that, by the way, is because he was a Bernie Sanders supporter, and he saw them stealing the election from Bernie Sanders, which is actually true. They did that. So he made that dump, asked for money from Julian Assange, and ended up dead, probably coincidentally, honestly. But as a result of that, we are able to now uncover, if somebody will investigate, a tremendous amount of lies and theft and everything else, corruption in the DNC. You've got Uranium One sale to Russia, and basically all you need to know about that is that there's a company that Russia wanted to take over, that a Russian conglomerate wanted to take over, that had to have the permission of the State Department, among some others, but the State Department was the biggie. And because it was uranium sales to Russia, it was the mining rights to uranium, and of course we get nuclear fusion, we get nuclear weapons from uranium. So what happened was the people in the company that wanted to take over those mining rights began donating money to the Clinton Foundation, and then Russia invited Bill Clinton over and paid him $500,000 to have a 20-minute speech, give a 20-minute speech. And so Bill got $500,000, and that is nothing because Podesta, the campaign manager, got 100,000 shares in total, 75,000 shares from one company and 25,000 from another, Jules, a Russian company, and ended up with $35 million, a billion rubles, which is about $35 million in cash infused into his company. So that's what he got. But the big winner, of course, was the Clinton Foundation, who ended up with $147 million. And, of course, after that, Hillary Clinton, working for the State Department, gave them the green light and allowed them to purchase 20% of the entire North American uranium reserves, or uranium that we would have access to, and now the Russians have that. Quickly, I got to pick up space. There's so much stuff. Haiti. Where's all the money? Billions donated to Haiti, only millions are accounted for. Less than 10% of the donations are accounted for. Hillary's brother got the gold mining rights in Haiti. Their friend built a multi-million-dollar facility there. But there's billions, literally billions of dollars missing and unaccounted for. I think you should look into the Clinton Foundation. I bet you'll find some of that. Anyway, let's continue. Ukraine. You got Chalupa is the woman's name that was a DNC operative and Ukrainian puppet there that was putting together a dossier and some stuff on Manafort, among other, trying to sabotage the Trump campaign. So you got true collusion there with Ukraine, and that's a foreign government who openly said they favored Clinton and promised to investigate and publish information harmful to Manafort, who was a Trump campaign person. Gosh, where does it start? Okay, you got billions of money given by, I'll tell you what, let's stay with just Hillary on this overview. We'll get into some of these things in a little bit more detail. You have, if you really looked at just Clinton, she's really up to the eyeballs with the same corruption as Bill Clinton was. It goes all the way back to Chinagate, which, Ron Brown ended up dying from that, of course, where money from China went into the Clinton campaign, which is illegal. And honestly, the reason they got away with that is because Monica Lewinsky gave Bill a blowjob, and that kind of took over the press, and, it was a lot sexier story than the Chinagate. But then you went into Travelgate, and then you had Whitewater. Travelgate, they fired all the people that were in the travel department and put a bunch of friends in there, and that got overturned. It was totally illegal. And Whitewater, where she had some criminal dealings and crooked investments. The guy that was her partner that was a part of both of those was a guy named Vince Foster, who allegedly killed himself, but somehow his body appears to have been found in a different location than where he killed himself. And the day prior to his death, Bill Clinton fired their FBI director or attorney general. I can't even remember which one. But anyway, you need to look into that if you want to. Travelgate, Whitewater, and the death of Vince Foster. Then you had Filegate, where FBI files were improperly accessed and turned up in the Clinton residence. You've got where she invested $1,000 in cattle futures with a friend of theirs. Normally that's a $12,000 minimum cattle futures and investment, but she invested $1,000. That turned into $100,000. I'm sure that was a what a great investment that was. But then you got Lootergate, where they took all the furniture and everything out of the White House when they left. You've got Benghazi, where she lied consistently about that. They tried to blame it on, in fact, they incarcerated a guy for making a YouTube video. They tried to say the YouTube video was the cause, and everybody knows it wasn't. There were gun running there in Benghazi, and she didn't have proper protection there. And then on the anniversary of September 11th, they, most of you know the story, but she lied profusely about that, and then refused to provide them with the backup necessary, even though it was possible to do by the special forces that were there begging, and the quick reaction package, which I used to be a part of, were begging to go in there and help get these guys out. Well, she refused, and they died. You got Jeffrey Epstein, the whole Epstein thing. She flew on the Lolita Express. The guy owns an island, him and the CIA, that's wired with sound and video that they used to blackmail people for sexual behaviors. She's been there several times. Bill Clinton's been there several times. Jeffrey Epstein is a convicted pedophile. But it doesn't stop there. She's been associated with child trafficking in Haiti. She had a little friend named Laura Silsby that got caught twice taking over 30 children each time and trying to leave the country with them illegally without any paperwork, basically just trafficking in them. And this Laura Silsby, of course, was Bill Clinton stepped in and got her off the hook after she was arrested, the second time she tried to do that. She has since changed her name and still works with a company now that provides information for the Amber Alert system. So you got Laura Silsby and Jeffrey Epstein, and you got Jimmy Savile, and you got a whole bunch of people that they're associated with and always have been that are related to pedophilia and child trafficking. All right, let's stop there. It's 12 minutes of garbage, and we will sort through some of this more later. Please subscribe. Please spread this information. Please comment, make your comments. But if you don't subscribe, I generally can't see your comments. So subscribe, leave your comments. I will pursue whatever avenues you want me to pursue for research. All I want to do is spread the truth, get the truth out there about the people that are running our world. It's not who we think they are, and they're not doing what we think they're doing. It's pretty bad news. But I'm here to give it to you because I am the Pushback Channel. Thank you.